World champion Peter Snell only came in last in New Zealand's finest moments of the 20th century. Well, that's the way you saw it.
All over New Zealand, people are at their transistor radios cheering.
The scientist Ernest Rutherford also ran a good race. He came in 7th equal for his achievement of splitting the atom. He had to share that place with any great New Zealand sporting moment of the century. In 6th place, an event that actually happened last century, women getting the vote. But in the last 100 years or so, we've come full circle. Only a few weeks ago, we elected our first woman Prime Minister, Helen Clark. Number 5 in our poll, no surprise at all. It involves our national sport. And number 5 in New Zealand's finest moments of the 20th century, any All Black victory. And no surprises with this one. For many of you, this was New Zealand's finest moment of the 20th century. The All Blacks winning the first ever Rugby World Cup. But that proud day in 1987 only rated number 4 in our poll of New Zealand's finest moments.
The New Zealand government is not prepared to change its policy of not admitting vessels carrying nuclear weapons to New Zealand ports.
Number 3 in our poll, a political moment, one of the most controversial of the 20th century, the time in the 80s when we thumbed our noses at the United States, Australia and all our other allies in the Western world and declared ourselves a nuclear-free state.
And therefore we are out of the alliance. We break company.
Number 3 in our poll of New Zealand's finest moments. Well, it's that man again, Sir Edmund Hillary. But this time our man at the top could only reach number 2 in our poll of New Zealand's finest moments of the 20th century. Well, here we are, New Zealand's finest moment of the 20th century. It's one we're all talking about now. Back then, it brought thousands and thousands of people out onto the streets. Queen Street, Lambton Quay, Cathedral Square. There were celebrations in every factory, office and home in New Zealand. New Zealand's finest moment of the 20th century, winning the America's Cup.
New Zealand really has something to shout about!
So, the America's Cup triumph was a narrow winner over Sir Edmund Hillary's conquest of Everest as our finest moment. The creation of a nuclear-free New Zealand is 3rd, while our Rugby World Cup triumph finishes 4th, and any victory by the All Blacks was 5th. The women's suffrage movement is 6th, while there's a tie for 7th between general sporting victories and the scientist Lord Rutherford. And 9th in the poll, one of our greatest Olympic champions, Peter Snell.